officially live, and we're happy to be here. Welcome to the Thomas Made Podcast. I'm Ethan Thomas.
And I am Maddie.
And we are super excited to be here.
Yes.
How are you doing?
How am I doing?
Yeah, how are you doing?
I am great.
Good.
How are you?
I'm fantastic because we are talking about, drum roll please, Disney, Universal, Vegas, and so much more. Yes, well now, because of this post-pandemic world, things are starting to open back up. And we have places such as, well, our three favorite places, Disney World,
Vegas,
and Universal opening back up.
In phases.
Yeah, in phases. But it's hard to believe that Vegas and Universal and Disney have all been closed since March.
It's crazy. It seems like forever.
Yeah. So March 15th, Walt Disney World closed. Around March 15th, Universal closed. And then March 16th, one day later, Vegas closed.
So sad. Well, Vegas, most of the casinos closed. Didn't we have one strong casino that stayed for a while?
Well, MGM closed. Caesars decided to stay open, but I think even they finally
threw the
closed.
towel in.
Yeah, no one was there. So It's kind of hard to stay open when no one is gambling.
Right.
You know? So, yeah. So, anyway, so they closed in phases, and we're happy to say our three favorite places are opening back up. And being that we have those three closed, let's talk about who's opening up really first in order. So, the first place to open is Viva Las Vegas. So on June 4th, so today is what, May 30th, 31st? So on June 4th, a couple days from now, Las Vegas is opening, but they're opening with a post-pandemic plan. You see Caesars Palace, Bellagio, MGM Grand, Wynn Resorts, and many others are opening up on June 4th. But they're opening up with a couple key things. Number one is going to be temperature checks.
That should be interesting.
Yes, all guests must have their temperatures taken on arrival, and properties must have medical crews on site at all times. So yeah, that should be quite interesting. And I wonder if the heat from outside, because it is summertime, and summer in Vegas is hot.
Yes.
So I wonder if that's going to have any impact on your actual temperature.
Oh, I definitely think so, especially if you're walking around, because a lot of, the majority of the strip is outside. So you're going to be walking around in the scorching heat and sunshine, and then coming in all sweaty to get your temperature checked, which, may or may not have spiked due to the, temperature and conditions outside. So that should be interesting.
You're absolutely correct. Now, with that said, they're also going to have masks available on request. All employees will be required to wear a mask. Let's see. Guests can wear a mask if they want.
They should.
They will be strongly encouraged to wear a mask.
And if you forgot yours, you can ask for one, right?
Yes. Yeah, they will have them, I guess, all over the casino, stationed throughout various locations.
Okay.
They're going to have social distancing, since that's such a buzzword and so key right now.
Right, I heard about markers on the floor, so that should be...
We'll see how well that works in Vegas.
Yeah, I don't know how it would work with slots, because they're jammed up right against one another.
Well, that is a great question, because the next part I have for you is the casino. Don't expect to grab a slot machine next to your sweetheart or best friend.
What?
Gambling in the time of COVID-19 will be more solitary, and occupancy limits in gaming areas will be cut in half. Tourists will see chairs and stools in front of every other gaming machine. Properties must regularly disinfect gaming machines, chairs, and other equipment. Dealers will even offer card players a complimentary pump of hand sanitizer between hands. So, yeah.
So basically, I'm going to play my favorite slot machine, and you won't be able to be nearby.
I'll be able to watch you from the sidewalk outside.
Okay. I also heard about the screens. Aren't they doing some type of screening in front of
Yeah, there will be plexiglass screens in front of the tables and in between players when you go to the roulette tables, the blackjack tables, the poker tables, the baccarat tables, pie gow,
Weird.
everything.
So it's going to be a new Vegas for sure.
Vegas, it's going to suck.
So we actually had a trip planned for September.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that with all these.
MGM, but yep, that might be going on a little.
All
bit of a
nightclubs are
hiatus.
also going to remain closed until further notice.
What about pools? Because you know I like to swim.
Let's see.
Oh no!
It says that
Fingers crossed. No pools.
It says that it doesn't say anything about the pools.
It's gonna be one of those wait and find out.
Yeah, I would not expect too many good things to happen with the pools though, because
you won't be able to wear a mask.
if you look at the cruise lines, they are actually limiting how many people can go to the pools. So yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I think we're gonna have to postpone our trip.
It'll probably be if you don't have a cabana or a chair reserved, you probably can't go to the pool. So you probably have to pay to go to the pool now.
Okay.
Which is fine, but, you know.
Yeah.
It's still not going to be the same.
No. Okay, so...
I don't know if I want to go to this new Vegas.
I think we need to wait a little while.
Yeah.
See if some things change, if the Rona goes away, and...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about this new
I
Vegas.
definitely don't think I'd be able to walk the strip in that weather with a mask on. I can barely walk around the grocery store with a mask on.
No.
Without, sweating profusely.
No. The problem is, the whole thing about Vegas is that it is pretty much a Wild West. In Vegas, you can do whatever you want, whenever you want, wherever you want.
Not anymore.
And I'm saying that's the premise of Vegas.
Yeah.
That's why Vegas is Vegas.
Right, what happens in
And if
Vegas?
you can't drink and just stand and do whatever you want, then what's the point of going to Vegas?
That's true. You could just go outside your house and
Exactly.
do the same thing.
Exactly.
With less rules.
Exactly.
Okay, so that should be an interesting Vegas. Not sure we're huge fans of it, so...
I don't foresee us really going to this new Vegas, do you?
No.
I don't foresee us going.
However, I do think that we should go to Atlantic City so that we can maybe do a vlog on what the casinos look like. At least from the New Jersey perspective.
Right, but we're talking about Vegas right now. So.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still MGM to own casino.
Yeah.
So they have the same phased out rules. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To get a taste of whether or not we'll still continue with our September trip.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll see what that looks like and see how we actually end up liking the new MGM properties and whatnot. Good call. Good call, Maddie. Good call.
Just a thought.
Good call. Now, let's switch gears real quick. Let's switch gears over to the next place that's opening. And this place is opening one day after Vegas. Can you tell me the place? Do you know which place I'm talking about?
Universal!
You would be absolutely correct. At least the Orlando one.
Okay.
I'm not sure about California. California is its own thing. They're pushed back to August at this point.
Seriously?
I don't know when California is opening.
Okay.
But yes, Universal Orlando is opening June 5th. And City Walk is already open, at least to some degree. Now on June 5th, they're going to open to smaller audiences with new procedures. And they haven't exactly announced what those new procedures are really going to be. So it's kind of going to be a crapshoot. Okay. But Universal, overall Universal is not really known for having those crazy crowds. They will now, since they're going to be the only theme park that's really open.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Universal is going to be manageable. A lot of their stuff is automated already.
Right.
So I don't quite see how they would have too many issues.
No. And I know from the last time we were there was not a whole lot of people. Like, we were very
No.
easily socially distancing, but
Yeah.
naturally.
Yeah. And we were there during I think it was a pretty busy time. We went there during when Halloween Horror Nights first opened, which is like a pretty busy time, you know?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to see the new Halloween Horror Nights, so it wasn't midsummer, but still, you know,
Yeah.
still a pretty crowded time for Universal. So, yeah, I think they'll be fine. As I said before, everything's pretty much automated there. You know, they're not like, you know, it's not too difficult for
Right.
them. I think the only real interesting thing is going to be is to see how the rides operate, because none of these rides have really operated at any capacity in 3 months almost.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be very interesting, and especially with the summer heat. We've gone to Orlando midsummer and we've seen how the rides break down.
Yeah.
So
Just from extreme heat.
yeah, so I think it's going to be interesting to see what exactly happens to Universal when they first open.
Yeah.
And I think their crowds are going to be huge purely because they're opening after all this happened.
And I know sometimes that, like, when now these parks have been closed, but usually they let some of the rides continue to run just without people on them.
Yeah,
But I doubt that that's
they'll still run at some capacity, but they're not running at like
full.
exactly.
Yeah.
They just run them so like they won't stop. But I mean, do you think they ran them for 3 months straight when
No, I don't think so.
you know?
Yeah.
Because sometimes they'll run them overnight and just keep them going. But I mean, it's been 3 months.
And again, with the masks, are they requiring masks and temp checks and all that stuff?
From what I saw, I think so. They haven't confirmed nor denied any information yet, but I believe that they strongly recommend the masks. The thing is, though, it's Florida, and Florida is, you know, its own place, so we'll see. I love Florida, though. I love that
too.
place, but, you know, if you go down there right now, they don't really care if you have a mask or not, so.
Yeah, just again, the same thing with the heat. I'm just interested in seeing.
And June
how
5th
that
is a
works.
Friday.
Woo!
So it's going to be crazy the first couple days that they open.
That's gonna be awesome, though.
That's going to be absolutely awesome to be at Universal when they first open on June 5th. Soon enough, we'll be in Orlando, though, and we'll be able to be there. So, but yeah, so that's absolutely awesome. Now, with that said, Universal is pretty straightforward, right? You know, they're going to open, that's that. They haven't had a whole big press release about what's changing, mainly because Universal is a little bit more of a simplistic theme park, right?
Yeah.
But then we have the creme de la creme. We have the king or queen. I'm not here to, you know, negate women, but we're looking at the best theme park of them all. Walt Disney World.
Woo! Now they have released more of a phase reopening type of plan.
Yes. Now on May 20th they opened Disney Springs.
Okay.
That's been open.
Yeah.
You know, people have been going down there. Everyone has seen what's going on down there. And you're right. They have a phased plan. So on June 11th, they're opening Magic Kingdom to some degree and Animal Kingdom.
My favorite. And then followed by, on July 15th, Epcot Hollywood Studios. You know, I heard that they're going to see how the June 11th goes. But there's a lot of changes to the normal, you know, Disney that we know it. And also, to piggyback off of that, June 22nd, Disney's Fort Wilderness and campgrounds reopen.
Right. Yeah. And
actually before all of those, yeah.
And with Disney, I know so many of you listening to this and so many of you out there love Disney World just like we do. And you've probably stalked the website just like we have and have seen some awesome prices. And we've, you know, thought about booking a hotel a couple times, but we just weren't sure when they were going to open.
Right.
And upon this opening news, we both were on the websites looking at dates, looking at hotels, until we saw some of the newest breaking news that they also released with this new plan. So should we get into that news?
Yes.
Okay, well, number one, let's get into the first part of the new Reservations update. So this is from Walt Disney World press release. When our theme parks reopen, we will manage attendance through a new theme park reservation system on DisneyWorld.com that will require all guests to make a reservation in advance for theme park entry. Over the coming weeks, we will make some necessary updates to prepare for the launch of this theme park reservation system. Here are some important information. Here's some important information to help you plan ahead. Number one, new ticket sales and hotel reservations. At this time, we are temporarily pausing new ticket sales and Disney Resort hotel reservations so we can focus on guests with existing tickets and reservations. Existing ticket holders and annual pass holders will be able to make theme park reservations before new tickets are sold. We will be reaching out to those guests soon to provide additional details. We will resume new ticket sales and new Disney Resort hotel reservations after that period of time. Theme park reservations will be limited due to attendance limitations and will be subject to availability.
Also, at Disney's annual pass holders will be able to make reservations prior to, during all of this, along with the existing ticket holders.
Right, that's what I read. I know I read a lot, but yeah.
You did, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. One.
Sorry, I missed that.
One big piece of information also that is very important to realize is that the NBA is going to be resuming their season down at Walt Disney World. So you also have to take into account that that's going to be a lot of hotels.
Right.
Because as of right now, what is being said is 22 teams are going to be down at the wide world of sports that they have at Walt Disney World.
Did they make that official?
Well, that's the official plan that the NBA Board of Governors is going to vote on.
Okay.
But they're assuming that it's going to be approved.
Gotcha.
Because that's the only, that in Vegas, or the other place we talked about, are the only locations that they have the basketball courts, the hotel rooms, and everything else needed. So, because of that, I would not expect any Disney hotels to really be running at full occupancy until probably the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's sad. We're not going to be able to go.
Yeah.
So we're not going to be able to take our September vacation and move that anywhere, at least in the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Because if you listen to our cruise podcast, we dig deep into cruises and talk about why we're not doing cruises for September either. So
it's an interesting world right now, especially with travel.
Yes. All right, next up, dining and experiences. I'm gonna let you take that one.
That's fine, because this is actually getting a whole lot of traffic online from what I've been reading. All right, so Disney dining and experiences. In order to foster physical distancing during this time, upon reopening, our offerings, restaurants, and other experiences such as behind-the-scenes tours will be limited in capacity and other experiences may remain closed. As a result of the limited capacity, we have made the difficult decision to cancel all existing dining reservations and experience bookings, including Disney dining plans included in packages throughout the end of the year. We will reopen dining and experience bookings with more limited numbers closer to when the parks reopen. We will also shift from a 180-day booking window to a 60-day booking window for dining and experience bookings going forward to allow guests to make their plans closer to their visits. So they've canceled the dining plans for people that have already booked.
That is insane.
I would be so upset.
That
like,
is
I'm upset
insane.
for you all who have had this happen to you.
That is insane, especially because it takes so much time
and
effort to figure out the logistics of where you're going to go, when, and everything else, and figuring out the dates. Because even with some experiences, like remember when we were booking the luau, that only happens on like Tuesday and Friday.
Yep.
So you have to figure out which time, and then you have to work around and get certain other other dining reservations. And
some people book their vacation around the Disney dining plan.
Yeah. You have to stalk out certain restaurants
like
because you can't get...
Like the Ohana and the beaches. Oh, I am so sorry for all of you who got those reservations and had them canceled.
And it's going to be so much tougher now because a 60-day window.
Yeah.
A 60-day window is going to be really tough. But it's going to put everyone on an even playing field also.
Right.
Because some Disney people who are experts know that you have the 180-day window.
Right.
Now, if you're not ready to necessarily book a vacation, if you're like us, where we're kind of a little more of a last-minute booker, it's a benefit. But regardless, it still stinks.
So what does the dining look like then?
Well, I'm sure there's going to be less tables. There's going to be less reservations per time. I don't know what the dining's going to look like. I don't know. And you know what? I'm sure for places like Ohana, where it's family style, it might not be so much family style anymore. It might be more... And also, the buffets. They might be getting rid of the buffets.
Wow. So this is an interesting Disney.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see what Disney plans. I don't think they even know what exactly they're gonna do.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason why when you listen to some of the stuff going on and you read some of these things and they say, well, why isn't Disney opening when Universal's opening? Because Disney has such a more complex network.
Right.
Their network is so much more complex. Universal, they're not really so much on the... No one thinks about the dining experiences when you go to Universal.
No.
Universal's just like, oh, I'm at the Simpsons World. I went to Harry Potter World, whatever. I got my butter beer. It's like certain items. It's not like, oh, I really want to have this dining experience.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Very.
It's hard to figure out, though.
Well, I guess we'll have to see in the upcoming weeks.
All right, well, we have one more shoe to drop.
Oh, no.
One more?
I don't know if I can handle anymore. Go ahead.
One more shoe to drop. And this shoe is about extra magic hours in the Fast Pass system.
Uh-oh.
So as a result of the COVID-19 impact, the Fast Pass Plus system will be suspended for the time being as we plan to use additional queue space to manage capacity at our attractions and maintain physical distancing. We will automatically cancel existing Fast Pass Plus selections and share any future updates on the service at a later time.
My heart just sank.
Also, please note that upon reopening, extra magic hours will be temporarily suspended. Yes.
I mean, I get it. It's just like, they just took all that Disney magic and sucked it right out.
Yeah, I get it also. I mean, I don't know. Let me pose this question to you, okay? Without, let's just say there isn't all the dining options.
Right.
Okay, let's say...
Well, there won't be.
Right, right. But I'm just saying, let's say there is no Via Napoli, there is no Ohana, there is no Beaches and Cream, and it's more or less you're eating at the cafeteria in the hotels, okay? Mm-hmm. Let's say that's really more of your dining options in the quick service in the theme parks, okay?
Right.
Let's say, well, there is no extra magic hours. There is no Fast Pass. would you still go to Walt Disney World?
If I had existing tickets, or
If you could book new tickets right now to go to Walt Disney World between now or between June 1st and September 1st, would you go to Disney?
if the prices were slashed just like everything else,
Well, no, the prices are still relatively this.
Nope.
It's still
I would
still
not.
Disney prices.
Well,
It's cheaper, but instead of okay, we'll do it this way. We'll do it this way. All right, you can stay at the Polynesian
right.
for $400 a night.
Oh, there's something we didn't talk about. Are the pools open? Because
What's up with you and pools?
it's summertime and I want to swim. So, like, if you're taking away the food, you're taking away the magic hours, you're taking away the reservations, and you're telling me that I basically have, to stand in 6 feet apart lines for rides and eat at my hotel. These are the options you give me. Would I still go on vacation for Disney prices?
All right. Well, let me read you the last few little tidbits at the bottom of this webpage. As we prepare for phased reopening, we want you to know that these measures are to promote cleanliness, physical distancing, and reduce contact. Mm-hmm. Top things you should know are that to enter a park, both a park reservation and valid admission for the same park on the same date is required. Face coverings are required for all guests. Temperature screenings are required. That's about it. All right, I thought that was going to answer your question.
About pools.
Yeah.
Plus, it's summertime. You know how
all right,
hot
well,
it gets.
listen. Based off of all this information, I would assume the pools probably aren't going to be open.
Okay, so then I would not do it. Unless I was an annual pass holder and lived somewhat nearby.
Okay, well that was not
that was not part of the question. So no, I would not.
Yeah, that was not the question. That was not the circumstance.
So how about you? Would you?
No, there's no Disney magic.
No, it's all gone.
It's too Disney. Listen, I love Disney. Disney is my favorite place on earth, but there's no Disney magic, and it's too expensive to just go there just to go.
No, and not have all the Disney.
You're absolutely right. If you are an annual pass holder, you live in Orlando or in Florida,
right.
You can just drive there for the day, or you can make a long weekend of it, stay at a hotel. Cool, perfect.
Yeah.
But if you live in another state, like for us, flying down there, getting a car, it's not worth $2,000, $3,000, $4,000.
And no, and also again with the scorching heat, having to get masks. By the time that you get to that gate and you get a temperature check, I know mine would be high. I'm just saying, unless I didn't wear the mask all the way up there, but then you got to wear it in the park.
Right.
So,
yeah.
And I'm not trying to complain about the masks. I'm just saying, imagine it.
No, listen, it's going to be tough, and it's not just the masks. It's going to be the lines, it's going to be it's going to be going in the stores to just buy something.
Yeah, you're going to have to pay for those Mickey ice cream bars because there's no extra magic hours.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be, and I wonder, in terms of the lines, it's going to be interesting because if you go to the supermarket right now, okay, the lines are like crazy, and it's only it might only be 10 people in line, but still the line extends all the way down and around because you need the social distancing, right?
Yep.
Well, think about Space Mountain, and now with no fast pass, how long is Space Mountain going to be?
So I would actually go for one reason only. If I was vlogging the whole thing so that I could show everybody else what the heck it looked like.
Okay, well, that's
that's a whole different thing. But
yeah,
to go
that's,
and lounge and vacating it, no. I'm just saying, because now I'm kind of,
Well, in that case, I would go if they paid me also. So, there you go.
Yeah, I would. If they paid for it, I would go too.
Or I'd go if I won the lottery right now. So, there you go.
Yeah.
In your face also. Anyway.
Talking about it has made me try to imagine what this new entertainment world is going to look like.
Right.
So I hope, that a lot of people at least try to experience it so other viewers can take a look and see what it's like.
No, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's just gonna be very interesting. It's gonna be very touch and go, and hopefully, coronavirus doesn't come back, so that these measures can stay in place and then fade out towards the end of the year, and then everybody can just get back to their lives, and Disney can get back to being Disney, and travel can get back to being travel, and yeah, we can all go on from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very interesting when you start to think about just things that we took for granted before all of this.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And things are going to be ever changing. Like, think about for our next podcast, we were planning a whole cruise, and then boom, in like literally a day, everything changed. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see changes, and as they experience, things that work, things that don't work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, with that said, we want to thank you so much for tuning into this podcast.
Absolutely.
This has been fun.
Thank you.
And be sure to subscribe. Be sure to share this podcast with family, friends, those you love, those you hate. Regardless, share this podcast. And we will be back with some more episodes. And we hope you all have a fantastic day.
Absolutely. Have a good one.
And we'll see you right back here very soon.
See you soon.
All right, bye.
Bye.